Hi guys, I hope you're good and I hope you're well and excited for our lesson today. We are still working with equations and today, yes, we are also still doing solving word problems, but now we have a bit of a twist which will bring back quadratic equations. So we will be working with quadratic equations and I have one example on area, but because I love you so much, I have one more example on something different, but it is also a quadratic equation. So guys, please be ready for this lesson and grab those notes as much as you can because you will definitely need them. So the first part of our lesson, guys, goes back into the revision part of something that we have discussed before. So these are the rules that we've used to solve linear equations, right? And we will be applying them also to solve linear quadratic problems, especially word problems. Okay, so we will be applying the same rules. So the first rule is read the whole question, guys, which is very important. And the reason why we need to read the whole question is because of the second point that we have, because it explains to us what is it that we really need to solve, what are we trying to do here. So reading the whole question facilitates to answer the second point, which says what are we asked to solve for. So you will definitely find that when you read and understand the whole question, okay? And the third part says assign a variable to the unknown quantity, for example, x. So we use x a lot in mathematics, right? Because it's one of the easiest to find out there. But you need to assign any variable that you think is relevant and that will make you understand the problem that you're dealing with. So try to assign variables as much as you can, and also translate the words into algebraic expressions by rewriting the given information in terms of the variable. So before you do so many things, guys, translate the language. If I say the sum of two things, so just say that value plus the other value. So you need to understand that language. You need to translate the language. So you change the words into a mathematical expression. But after you've done that, guys, please set up an equation or system of equations to solve for the variable. Because if you have equations, guys, it will be quite easy for you to work with these kind of problems that we'll be dealing with here. And also you need to solve the equation algebraically using substitution. So substitution is one of the best methods that I actually recommend, that you can always use in our lessons, guys, and we will be able to find these problems, solution to the problems that we have quite easily. And lastly, you need to ensure that you check the solution. Try to always check that whatever way you were trying to calculate, does it make sense? Does it correspond to the initial statement that I was given on the question? So those guys, those are the rules that you need as much as you can. Okay, so we need to always bring up these rules. We need to always remember them. All right, so now let's do the first problem that we have, and it says the length of a rectangle is twice the breadth, and if the area is 128 centimeters squared, determine the length and the breadth of this rectangle. So how do you know it's a quadratic problem? Because already it says 128 centimeters squared. And another second thing that you need to know is that you are working with area here. So if you're working with area, you're multiplying two properties together, so it automatically becomes quadratic, guys. So that is how we know all of this. So to solve this problem, we need to understand the first line. As the first rule says, read the whole question, what are you actually asked to solve? So it says the length of a rectangle is twice the breadth. So it means you have a rectangle of this format. So try to draw a very nice rectangle for you. So it means a rectangle, this side equals to that one and this side equals to the other one. And the length, guys, the length L, so the length L is 2 times B. So it means if I want to find L, I can actually equate it to 2B. And let's go back to the formula of finding the area of a rectangle. It says, okay, let me just write there, you have 128 squared centimeters as your area. So the area, this is how you calculate it. Area of a rectangle is given by L times B. And you already know that L is given by 2 times B. So it means that if you need to find the area, since we're given as 128, so let me just write it on the other side. So the area is given as 128 squared centimeters. So this is equal to L times B, right? It's equal to L times B, but we know that L is actually 2 times B. So we can substitute L and say this is equal to 2 times B. So you have 128 equals to, so instead of L, I can say this is 2B times B. And I have 128 now equals to, what is 2 times B? 2B times B, that is going to be 2B squared. And now you can easily solve this equation. So you divide by 2 both sides, divide by 2. So you are left with, what is 128 divided by 2? You're going to find yourself with 64 equals to B squared. So therefore, guys, B is given by the square root of 64. And the square root of 64 is what? Is 8. So you have found at least one side that you know that this side is 8 centimeters, okay? So it means the other side is twice B. So because L is equals to 2B, therefore L is given by 2 times 8. So that is why L is given by 16 centimeters. So you have L 16 centimeters and B is given by 8 centimeters, not 18, it's given by 8 centimeters, guys. So that is how you solve this type of problem, and you've easily found the values of each side. So you just need to read the question properly, understand the initial formula of area, for example, in such a case, and just substituting every value, guys, that you see. Just substitute everything that you see, okay? So that is how it's done, guys. Now, I have one more example for you, which is, I told you I'd a surprise for you. So we've done the area part, but now this one is quite different. And what makes it different is the way it's written, and the technique that you'll be using here is also different. But the highlight is that this is also a quadratic problem, so that's why I found it very important that you need it for this lesson, okay? So it says there, if 4 times a number is increased by 6, the result is 15 less than the square of the number. Find the number. Let's start it afresh. It says, if a number is increased by 6, the result is 15 less than the square of that number. So, yes, we may have a debate now. Someone saying, I have 2 equations. Someone saying, I think I have 1 equation only. The truth is, the equation here is only 1. And you need to understand this. So now let's translate this language into a mathematical language. So if I say 4 times a number is increased by 6, just this first part. If we write this first part in a mathematical language, 4 times a number, let's just use that number as x. So let's just choose x. So 4 times x, which is 4x, is increased by 6. Just that's how I wrote the first part. So it means 4 times a number increased by 6. It's 4x plus 6. Now let's go to the second part. It says, then the result is, guys, the moment it says result, that simply means equal. So you're using an equal sign. So the result is, or 4 times the number increased by 6 is. The moment you get is, means just using an equal sign. So the result is 15 less than the square of the number. So it is 15 less than the square of the number. So it means this, you need to start with the square of the number. So the square of the number is x squared, because you need to square the unknown value. And the result is 15 less than the square of the number. So it's x squared minus 15. So the moment it says increased, it's a plus, less, it's minus. So that is what you have. You have an equation in front of you guys. Now, how do we solve this equation now? This is how you do it. You simply take every value to the other side, because you can't equate, you don't have like terms. You only have 6 and 15 as like terms, but x squared and x, they're not like terms. So what you're trying to do here is you're trying to create a trinomial, okay? So let's see if we have that. So if I take every value to the other side, I'm left with x squared minus 15 minus 4x minus, so that is minus 6 equals to 0, because when I removed everything this side, only 0 was left. So that's why I wrote it on the other side. So now let's try to add like terms, guys. So do I have anything of x family, of x squared family? No. So I'll just bring back x squared as it is. And let's just go to the second part. Do I have anything of minus 4x, anything of that family? No. So just bring minus 4x down, but then you're left with constants. So you have minus 15 and minus 6. Those values, guys, they give you negative 20, 21, and you equate it to 0. So now what you have in front of you is a quadratic equation, okay? The quadratic equation, how do you identify it? The quadratic equation is always in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So c is always the constant. So that is what we have here. So guys, once you have a trinomial in such a case, what you do? Factorize. So let's try to factorize and see if we're going to get the correct answer. So we open two brackets, and we also have lessons, guys, on factorization. So please go back to them if you still struggle with factorization. So you open two brackets, and factors of the first term will be x and x. Factors of the last term, such that when you add or subtract them, they must give you negative 4. So 7 times 3 gives you 21, and also negative 7 plus 3 gives you negative 4. So we are good. Now, what you have to do is, now you take the first part, you say this is x minus 7 equals to 0, and you also have a second solution which says x plus 3 equals to 0. So therefore, from the first solution, x is given by 7, because it took negative 7 to the other side, it became positive, or x is also negative 3, because it took negative 3 to the other side. So if you have a quadratic problem, you are more likely to end up with 2 solutions. That is your maximum, okay? So guys, this is how you work with word problems on quadratic equations. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson, guys. If you didn't understand anything along the lesson, please go back, revise, and everything will be fine. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for joining me on this lesson today, and I will see you on the next one.